Hi, I'm Michael Taylor Gray, and I'm in the studios of Pacifica radio station KPFK in Los Angeles, where the award-winning This Way Out Radio International LGBTQ radio magazine was born and broadcast 33 years ago. We're taking a moment to meet one of the founders and find out how it all began. Greg Gordon is the coordinating producer of This Way Out and writes news wrap each week. Let's start with how you got started in radio.
I had come out in the late 60s, early 70s. In 1974, I was doing volunteer work at what was then called the Gay Community Services Center, and it was located in downtown L.A. This was, the early 70s, so it was the age of workshops and rap groups and consciousness raising. And someone from KPFK posted a notice. At the time, there was a once-a-month lesbian show and a once-a-month gay men's show. And the guy that was doing the gay men's show was moving, and so KPFK needed some other new people. And yours truly and two other guys signed up, and we did our first show in August of 1974 on KPFK. And it was a live with phone-in show. And that's how I got started doing LGBTQ radio.
Did you get calls that first show?
Oh, yeah. And we used to get abusive phone calls when we opened the phones, as well as, good calls and question calls and all that, but really vile stuff.
Pioneering queer radio is only one of Greg's badges of honor. Scholars note his 1978 interview with Harvey Milk as an important moment in public broadcast history.
It was a wonderful interview. We did it in the back of his camera shop on Castro Street, sort of the base of his political operations. So throughout the interview, every now and then you hear a little ding, ding, ding with the camera shop door opening and closing. But he was just as warm and charming and personable as you can imagine. And, of course, an incredibly articulate advocate for queer causes and recognizing the importance of what we now call intersectionality. I mean, he got to the unions, he spoke with all the different racial and ethnic minorities, so he realized that in coalition, progressive people could win.
Okay, now in 1979, and again in 1987, you and This Way Out associate producer Lucia Chappelle covered the March on Washington for gay and lesbian rights. Tell us what you remember about those events.
The 79 March was the first. Nobody knew how many people were going to show up. And I can't remember exactly now where the rally was held, but we were setting up there, so we didn't see the march at all and had no idea, how many people had shown up. There was a certain hint because within a couple of days before the march, if you went on the subways or were out and about in D.C., especially near DuPont Circle, it was like Queerville. So to see the approaching crowd, we all just went, oh, my God. It was thousands and thousands of people. It activated a lot of people who had come from places where they could not be out safely. But it was their chance to be out and in a community in D.C. And boy, everybody was loving everybody. And there was entertainment and rally speakers. It was just amazing.
I'm Michael Taylor Gray, talking with Greg Gordon, co-founder of This Way Out International LGBTQ Radio. We're taking a moment to invite you to show your support for this nonprofit media organization. You can donate online at thiswayout.org. Today, as part of the James Baldwin Teach-In, This Way Out is offering a gift for a contribution of $100 or more, a 14-plus hour collection of James Baldwin on Pacifica Radio. 20 recordings, speeches, literary readings, panel discussions, interviews, lectures, debates, and conversations broadcast between 1961 and 1972. You can get access to digital downloads or MP3 compact discs mailed to you. Visit thiswayout.org/donor gift. Not only are you getting rare James Baldwin recordings, but you will be preserving queer space on public and community radio. As queer spaces close and disappear, it's critical to maintain our voice on radio. Supporting an historic radio show that has been the first and last bastion of queer advocacy and education in public media, and giving voice to the global queer community. And speaking of giving voice to the global queer community, Greg, why don't you tell us about the 1987 March on Washington?
Lucia and I organized it, and it was also a vehicle for us to recruit other local LGBT radio producers from around the country for what would become This Way Out. The biggest thing I remember from the 87 March was that we had depended upon a guy from WPFW in the Pacifica affiliate in D.C. to set up the technical stuff, and it would be the audio would be fed to the station to be uploaded to the satellite, which at the time was the way national public radio and community radio programs were distributed, was via satellite. Well, we got there, and it was not there. What we wound up doing is a guy from WBAI got on the train with tape decks and incredible numbers of equipment. We recorded the rally coverage, and hour by hour, someone then bicycled the reel-to-reel tape to WPFW, and that's how that live coverage was distributed in hourly recorded segments by bicycle.
Now, after 33 years of working on This Way Out, what has been, to you, Greg Gordon, the most meaningful impact that it's had on people world over?
Actually, that's a pretty easy question to answer. When someone tells me, or I find out, or I'm told that they listen to our work when they were deeply in the closet. I remember one person, I listened to your show on my headphones behind my closed bedroom door so no one would know I was listening. And it made me feel more okay about myself. This is probably true, Michael, for a lot of us who do active work in the community in whatever capacity, is we remember how challenging it was when we were coming out and how much of a help having that lone supportive voice in the night, so to speak, tell us that we were not monsters, we were not sinful, we were not illegal, we were beautiful human beings just the way we were intended to be. And that's what keeps me going. I know I'm educating people as well as supporting people, and that's, you can't put a price on that. Although you can, if folks would please donate during this wonderful event.
You are so good. So please donate. I mean, that James Baldwin collection alone, 14 plus hours.
Any amount, by the way, let's be clear. Any amount is helpful. Give $1,000 if you've got it to give. Give $10, but every little bit helps. And as we used to say when I was pitching down at KPFK, please don't wait for your neighbor to do it, because if everybody felt that way, nobody would do anything.
You put the fun in fundraiser. I'm just
Thank
telling you. Yes. So, but you are teaching. This is your classroom. I Am You This Way Out, and we're blessed to have you as our teacher. So, thank you for your commitment.
I'm so blessed to be earning a living, albeit not going to Cancun anytime soon, but earning a living, keeping a roof over my head, doing what I love to do. And that's a rare gift for anybody in any capacity.
Well, thank you, Greg Gordon. Really, thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you've done over the past 40-plus years, bringing queer voices to the radio.
Thank you, Michael Taylor Gray, for what you do.
Well, I do it because of people like you.
Everybody contributes.
Absolutely. We return to the James Baldwin Teach-In, a virtual Pride event presented by This Way Out International LGBTQ Radio. Thank you for listening. I'm Michael Taylor Gray.